Let Standard Chartered's Forex expertise power your ambition. Let Standard Chartered's Forex expertise power your ambition.
During difficult times, you need the right partner to keep things moving. At OSK, we provide the support you need so that your business can keep on progressing. Let our expertise work for you. OSK Investment Bank.
With fortunes made or lost in a moment, you can't afford to miss the day's biggest news. At the end of the business day, there's one place to turn. Asia Business Tonight on Bloomberg Television. Newsmakers and reporters from Bloomberg's 145 global bureaus join Susan Lee to put it all in perspective and tell you what to expect tomorrow. That's every weeknight on Asia Business Tonight. No one covers Asia better than Bloomberg.
Got a question for Kathy, our guests, or even a hot trading idea? Asia Edge wants to hear from you. Send us an email, asiaedge@bloomberg.net, or instant message us at Asia Edge on your Bloomberg terminal.
Talk about bullish. JP Morgan expects Asian stocks ex-Japan to follow up the worst year-end record with the biggest rally in 16 years. The bank seeing the benchmark rising another 21%, bringing its advance to 62% this year. JP Morgan says cyclical stocks will continue to outperform as economies recover. As for picks, it recommends buying shares of Indian oil company Reliance Industries and the Indonesian auto retailer Astra. Now, on to Indonesia, where the Jakarta Composite Index may rise a further 14% this year. Credit Suisse citing the economic outlook for Southeast Asia's biggest economy and the valuation of its stocks. Here's the Jakarta Composite Index, as you can see on the screen. It already gained more than 47% year to date. Credit Suisse is expecting higher commodity prices and lower interest rates to further shield Indonesia from the global recession. The country exports palm oil and coal. Private consumption makes about 2/3 of this economy of 250 million people. Credit Suisse's picks writing on Indonesia's economy include heavy equipment maker United Tractors, also Indo Tambanggaraya and Adaro Energy, which are both coal stocks. The bank also has election picks as the country goes to the polls to pick a president in July. The incumbent is expected to win. Credit Suisse says cement makers are likely to benefit from the election theme. That's Sam Gresik of Indosmen Tunggal Prakarsa. Also, Bumi Resources, which exports a power station coal. And we're back with Elaine Barbeza of RevPi, Senior Fund Manager here in Hong Kong. And I was just mentioning Indonesian markets there, and I know that you like the market, but not for its liquidity profile. How come?
Well, as we said before, those are very fickle markets and liquidity can disappear very quickly. So anything that can become very illiquid very quickly is something that we'll tend to avoid in this environment. That being said, Indonesia is a market we like, as you mentioned. It's probably the only economy in Asia where there is a real domestic demand story to be played upon.
Do you ever think of getting back in at some point?
Potentially, if things really stabilize and we have a better view of what's ahead of us.
But for now, you're sticking with the Chinese growth story, because I know that you've got Huatian Power, the Hong Kong stock listed, a unit of China's fourth biggest electricity producer. You're seeing a 25% upside?
That's correct.
Say the 6 to 9 months time frame?
That's correct.
What
yeah.
are the reasons for this?
Well, it's a story of normalization, first of all. As you know, last year, the pricing mechanism for electricity was disrupted by the government, who was afraid about inflation. So they froze electricity tariffs at a time when coal prices, the main raw material, was going up 70%. So that destroyed the companies and the margin. We have a stabilization of this now, and it's a fairly valued stock at about 8 times PE. So we think there's potential for a re-rating on that stock.
But is there a potential for a de-rating, considering that the Chinese economy may not pick up that much, might not need so much electricity?
But if that were the case, I think the de-rated has been done already. It's been done last year. The whole sector was, as I said, sold down very aggressively, and come down to very attractive valuation. So we think we have some protection on the downside from a valuation perspective.
Okay, well, what about Xinyi? You're also long on this company that's just raised over $500,000 Hong Kong dollars, selling 90 million new shares at 580 each. How much further of an upside?
We see about 30% upside on the share price.
Even more than Huadian?
Yes. And the story here is basically a company that has done everything right over the past few years. They made the right decisions. The latest one was to focus squarely on the replacement market for the glass product. That saved them. 90% of their products go to the automobile industry. They were not affected by the fall in new car sales. And 43 out of the 186 production lines in China have been shut. It costs a lot of money to restart them, usually 100 million renminbi just to restart a production line. So when it stops, it usually doesn't come back. So you have about 25% of the capacity that's been taken out, and Xinyi becoming the number one in the industry and benefiting from that growth.
So at a current PE of 10 times, that is a pretty cheap stock.
It's a pretty cheap stock for a company that's growing at 20% year in, year out.
Wow, 20% year in, year out, and no risks attached to this stock.
Well, there's always risks, but we think we're confident about the management. They've proven themselves.
Okay, let's go to your short book here, because those that you don't like happen to be in Japan. Why the bias there? I mean, I know that you already told me that you don't really like the structural problems in Japan, but why in particular Komatsu, the world's second biggest maker of the construction of mining machinery?
That's correct. It's a stock specific as well as a top-down play. The stock specific is basically a balance sheet that's deteriorating very quickly. They had non-operating losses in 2007 of 10 billion, 23 billion last year. They'll have probably 64 billion this year. Their debt structure is the wrong one. They've raised short-term debt by 102% over the last year. Their long-term debt coming due over 12 months is $1 billion that they have to refinance. That costs them a lot of money. That puts a lot of pressure on profitability as well.
So at 29 times, is really pricey.
It is pricey.
And at what point would you say it would become a stock to buy, if the stock were to fall further?
I would say if we go below 20 times, around 18 times would be a correct level to go back in the stock.
That's a far out kind of a target, isn't it? I mean, it's going to take some time before it reaches that kind of a PE ratio. But what about for Makita, the power tool maker? The inventory situation, is that the biggest
situation is worrying, exactly. They went from about 3.5 months of sales to above seven months in a short period of time. They operate in the construction industry, which is a late cycle industry. So even if the economy starts to recover, it will take some time for them to address their situation.
Okay, we got about a minute here. I wanted to know at the end of the year, what sort of changes do you think you'd be making to your long and short positions? Considering that you like the Chinese market, but it's still overpriced, you know that it's going to come down at maybe summertime. When are you going to make a review?
End of the year looks like an eternity to me.
Doesn't it, for every hedge fund manager?
In this environment. I would say if you ask me over the next 2 months, we think there's a risk of a correction. Because the markets are liquidity driven, and you need more and more liquidity to sustain that momentum. We think it's unlikely, so there should be a pullbacks at sometime probably over the summer.
Okay, well, it's good to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Alain Barbeza of RabPi here in Hong Kong. And back after the break with more on a look at why the recent rally in emerging markets is making some investors nervous.
Get the champagne ready. We've brought you a cup with handle.